Hello Capricorn and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements looking at your connection between you and the person that you are dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. We'll be pulling for all three sides of the connection, so we'll look at your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it. The concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section is looking at what is the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and to leave what does not. On that note, and especially if you're a cross-watcher, just know that this whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that is totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is to take what helps and leave what doesn't. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Capricorn, we're going to jump on in looking at overall energy through oracle cards first, and then we'll dive deeper into the story with tarot as we progress. I also want to let you all know that I have started posting daily general mini readings on my TikTok and Instagram platform. So if you are interested in those, the links to those accounts are below. But let's see, Capricorn, what we've got here. Let's look at your side of this connection to the person you're dealing with here. Okay, drama with this mask here, which is always what I'm immediately drawn to when it comes to this card. And then separation. Ooh, okay. So this connection you currently view as in separation. There's a distance here on coming from your perspective, whether it's complete separation or not communicating as much, or physical separation. I'm not quite sure, but I feel like with this drama card, this is interesting because this connection brings a lot of really good feelings to your life, and I think that those good feelings made the not so good stuff worthwhile, because I get this just like this heightened sense of excitement or almost like infatuation here. And it's like, despite the drama, despite the chaos, despite all the bad, this is one of those connections that feels very worth it in the end. However, I think that might be why you're struggling a little bit with this separation, is because despite everything, I feel like there were or have been a lot of good times in this connection that you're really wanting more of. This person's energy toward you, because I feel like I'm dealing with someone that doesn't want a separation, even if it was your decision. I don't know if because I know I just said that the good is worth it, but I feel like maybe you got so overwhelmed with how things have been that you eventually had to walk away, but it doesn't mean that you're not still holding on to how things were when they were good. But okay, this person's energy toward you. Breakups and makeups. So it might be this person that made the decision to separate. I don't know why, but I get that this person is very in and out, very wishy-washy. And I feel like this is a pattern for them in a lot of their relationships. Because I don't necessarily know, there's know your worth. I feel like this person struggles a lot with insecurity around relationships. Even if you're not, if you're specifically not aware of that, I do feel like this person struggles with vulnerability and opening up. And like I said, just generally feeling a little bit insecure in relationships, which might be where the withdrawal starts to come from. Or, maybe they start arguments to create distance, to avoid that intimacy. I don't know. But I definitely feel like their energy is very complicated. And I think that you can recognize that too, which is why there is a lot that I feel like is still very good about this in your eyes. Truth of this connection between Capricorn and this person. And it's interesting because I do feel like you're in a little bit of a place of insecurity in this, especially because I feel like the inconsistency from this person puts you very on edge too. There's forgiveness here. And euphoria. Oof. Okay, so there's a cycle here. It's like something happens, some sort of chaos. There's a fight or an argument, which leads to separation. And then there's always this coming back together. And that coming back together feeling feels really good because it's like this promise of, you know, better days and things feeling good moving forward. And I think that this forgiveness card is a lot of, you've had to do a lot of forgiving in this connection, I feel like, Capricorn, or, you know, whoever I'm talking to here. And I think that, you know, and that's what it feels like with this person is, you know, they create arguments or they create separation and then they immediately are like, oh my gosh, like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. And then things come back together and then it just like all repeats again. So there's a lot here. There's a lot of chaos in this reading, but there's a lot of good feelings too, which I, you know, kind of gathered from the very beginning. I mean, the way that you see this person, I feel like you have just so much love for them that it's hard for you to set boundaries almost as if they, you know, like if it were anybody else, it'd be easier for you. But I feel like with this person, you know, I feel like they kind of are this, I don't want to say weakness necessarily, but I feel like it's easy for you to kind of let them back in because of the strong pull that you do have toward each other. But overall theme of this for Capricorn, please. It is worth it. Literally, this is what I feel like it feels like. It's like look at this this animal like being poked and prodded, and it's like, it's worth it, I swear, it's worth it. Like, I feel like that's what keeps happening here. It's like you're hurting and you're struggling and there's chaos and there's drama. You're like, no, it's worth it. This love is worth it. You know, this person is worth it. Even though I do feel like this connection has put you through a little bit of hell here. What else? You didn't mean it. But then you have karmic here, which is interesting. This you didn't mean it card, and this is what I kind of felt. There's just so much empathy that I feel like you have for this person. I feel like you understand when they like act emotionally or when they do certain things, and I feel like you're like, I know that that's not who you really who you really are, and I know that that's not how you really feel. So I feel like that's why it's a little bit easier to forgive, because I do feel like you see this person's heart. Now, one of the things that's so important to know is that empathy and tolerance are two very different things, right? We can have empathy for somebody's experience and why they do the things that they do, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we are, you know, needing to tolerate certain behavior, especially if there's mistreatment involved. But let's see what we've got for your side of this drama with separation. Capricorn side of this connection, please. Like there's so much dog hair on my table right now. There's so much dog hair all over the place in my life. I've gotten pretty used to it. King of Pentacles. I feel like, yeah, then the Page of Wands in reverse. The Five of Wands. You know, it's interesting because I feel like typically Capricorn, you are pretty like cool, calm, collected, grounded. I feel like this person has this tendency to bring a very certain side out of you. And I think that it does stem very much from passion. I feel like there's a lot of passion in this connection. I think passion can be a good thing and it can be a not so good thing. Because yeah, I think that this person has this tendency to really ground you, to really get you in, like I said, a place of, you know, insecurity or stress. This Page of Wands in reverse card is this indication that this person has a tendency to bring a lot of really buried things to the surface as well. So maybe there's some mirroring here, the way that this person triggers you, or maybe, bringing some deeper wounds to the surface. And I think that probably is a back and forth thing too. This Five of Wands, I feel like this is a connection you've spent a lot of time fighting for. I feel like you've spent a lot of time doing what you can to show up for it. Again, in this King of Pentacles energy, even if you're male or female, this King of Pentacles isn't necessarily an indication of gender, but I do feel like this is like this energy of you trying to be this person to make things work, like the glue that holds this connection together. And then I feel like, I don't know what happens, but it's like this person just has this tendency to really push you over the edge here. This Tower, I feel like, is an indication or kind of pointing to the recent fallout that has happened in this connection, or the recent argument or fight or whatever that has caused things to fall apart. And I say recent because I feel like I said, this doesn't feel like a new connection. This feels like something that has been in your life for a while, and there's a cycle here with you and this person that exists. Let's get more for Capricorn side here. The Ace of Cups. Your feelings for this person are very genuine, and I feel like your intentions in this connection are very genuine as well. Ace of Pentacles in reverse here. And that's the thing that I feel like is really hard is, you're here with these genuine intentions. Like, I feel like you just want to love this person. You just want to be in a good, healthy connection with them. And it almost feels like their behavior doesn't let that happen. And it's not that you don't have toxic traits as well. We all do, right? We all have flaws. We all have, certain things. But, when we're dealing with inconsistent people, a lot of times it can draw out some things in us that, are, kind of maybe more so our shadow side, right? I feel like what you've been waiting for in this in this connection is an opportunity to really build on a solid foundation. It just feels like even when, things come back together and there's forgiveness and, the storm kind of clears, I feel like there's always this like shaky energy, because it just feels to me like you're kind of waiting on the other shoe to drop, and that's putting you in this position of, trying to do whatever you can to not, ruffle feathers, I guess I'll say. And I think that that's made things really hard for you to like exist in this connection in a peaceful way, because you're trying to do what you can to make it work. And I feel like what you're dealing with is kind of combating this person's kind of in and out energy, because their energy feels very chaotic and all over the place too. But let's see what we're actually dealing with them. Know your worth, breakups, and makeups. This person's energy toward you, Capricorn. Whoa, okay. Got all 6 right out of the gate. Okay, Knight of Wands in reverse, 5 of Pentacles, 10 of Swords, Hierophant, 8 of Swords, and Page of Wands in reverse. I said it from the beginning that this person's energy is very complicated. And this is kind of, there's the High Priestess. You know what's really interesting is when I shuffled this deck, look at what's on the bottom of your deck. It's the High Priestess. Anyway, I just thought that was interesting. So there's definitely maybe a spiritual kind of connection here where it's like you're connected to, their higher self. And I think that that's where it's like, this person's, it's okay. Let me back up. I'll come back to this in a second. What I was going to say was this person's energy is very complicated because they do want this connection to work. I feel like they have genuine feelings in this connection. But what's hard is that their actions and their behavior do not show that. And there's a lot of different ways as to why our behaviors and our actions go against our desires. And a lot of times in relationships, because right out of the gate, they had the Knight of Wands in reverse. There's this self-sabotage here. So I feel like this person struggles with opening up and being vulnerable, and their ego starts to kind of jump in and take control of things. And our ego isn't to be demonized. We all have one. Its primary goal is survival. It's, to keep us alive. And a lot of times what the ego will do is protect yourself from the potential of being hurt like you have in the past. And it feels like this person has some pretty intense trust issues when it comes to opening up and being vulnerable, not necessarily with you, but from their past. With this Ten of Swords, I definitely feel that they've been hurt before, and I feel like they've been hurt really badly before. And this Five of Pentacles kind of is this indication that they do feel a loss in this connection when there is separation. But I also, at the same time, with this Eight of Swords, feel like they feel very trapped. It's like they keep making decisions that go against what's best for them in this connection, and ultimately, yes, also what's best for you. And it's almost like they're at this place of, I don't know what to do because I can't stop messing things up. That's what it kind of feels like. Now with the Page of Wands in reverse, and I said that because remember you had the Page of Wands in reverse, and I said there might be some mirroring because the way that this person triggers you brings up some, old maybe wounding, some dynamics that have wounded you in the past. I feel like you do very much the same thing for them. And it's interesting because it's not something you're doing intentionally. It's just the way that your guys' energies interact. And with this Hierophant here, it's almost like every time there's a separation, this person, it's like there's this moment of clarity where they're like, what have I done? Why did I do these things? I really want this connection to work. I never meant to hurt you. Like, please, let's make this work. And I feel like this is where the spiritual aspect of it comes in with the High Priestess, is because I do feel that you both are so connected on this spiritual level that you see, like I said from the beginning, it's like you see this person's heart and you know that they want to be loved, but you also can understand that they make certain decisions from this place of self-sabotage. And so that's why you're like, okay, I'll let you in, let's give this another try, or I'm willing to kind of see where this goes from here, because I do feel that it's like that they genuinely care about you, regardless of how they do show up. Now, this is where things get a little bit complicated, and I try to bring forth the most amount of honesty that I can in my readings, not trying to disappoint people, but coming from this place of helping you, do what is best for you to attract the relationships that you deserve and desire. And one of the things that I've really learned is that people don't change unless there is a genuine attempt at growth and healing. Because, if we just say, oh, I'm going to change my behavior without getting to the root of why we do the things that we do, then the behavior is still going to stem from, that deeper wounding or the lack of healing and growth. And where this person is sitting, they have a lot of work to do on themselves. I feel like they're very driven by this Ten of Swords energy, meaning that, hurt people. And I feel like there's a lot of different reasons why, when we feel insecure and we feel not good enough for love, we tend to push people away, which hurts other people, but even though it also hurts us. Again, there's so many different ways that can show up in connections, but that doesn't make it okay. We are all adults here, and know the way that we've been hurt in the past is not our fault, nor is it is it fair for us to have been through those experiences, but it is our responsibility to heal from them so that we don't allow the ways that we've been hurt in the past to hurt other people. And that is something that each individual has to make the decision to do. Each individual has to make that decision to heal and to show up better, not just for themselves, but for other people as well. But that means that there has to be this willingness to really look at themselves, not just from I think a lot of people do the hindsight thing where they're like, okay, in hindsight, yes, I messed up, but then they make the same mistake, right? And forgiveness, an apology without change behavior is manipulation. And the forgiveness of that is allowing that person to continue to do what they're always going to do, and continue to get what they want out of the connection. And yes, they might have genuine intentions, but intention and ability to show up for how you deserve to be loved are two very different things. I've always kind of equated it to somebody who wants to run a marathon. If you want to run a marathon, you're going to have to do the work. You're going to have to get up off the couch and you're going to have to do the training, right? If you've never ran a mile in your life and you show up on race day, you're not going to make it through that marathon. You're going to fail. You're going to get injured, right? So if somebody isn't doing the work to show up to love themselves and to love other people better, they're going to continue to do the same things over and over again. And sometimes, instead, because empathy is important, I think this world would be a better place if more people had empathy, but toxic empathy is a very real thing where we have so much empathy for somebody else that we're ignoring our own experience and we're allowing ourselves to be harmed because we have empathy for what somebody else has been through. So I do feel that Spirit is asking you to look at this from this perspective of not just that this person deserves love, because they absolutely do, but you do too. You deserve to be treated well too. And that starts with not allowing people to not treat you well, essentially. And I think that that's what's hard, is we can be connected to other people's potential. We can see it in them. We can see everything that they could potentially be someday if they were to heal and grow. But everybody is acting from a place of free will. If there's anything that I've learned, we cannot heal, change, or fix another person. Can we create a safe space for people to do the healing? Absolutely. But that should never come at the expense of our mental and emotional and physical well-being. So I do feel like Spirit is asking you to look out for yourself a little bit here. And to proceed with caution when it comes to this connection, because I don't see this person changing, this person's energy changing. I do feel that, their apologies are probably very genuine. The things that they don't mean to mess up, but they do have to do the real work in order to show up better for you and for themselves. Like, it's not just about you, but it is about themselves too. All right, I'm going to hop on over to the extended You Have Euphoria with Forgiveness. I'm going to dive deeper into this, looking at the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in alignment with your higher self. Just a friendly reminder that I am hosting a Manifesting Financial Freedom workshop on September 19th at 6 p.m. Central Time. It is a live workshop. However, if you cannot make it live and you wish to be a part of it and you purchase a ticket, you'll receive a recording of the workshop and all of the materials the next day. So if you want to be a part of this workshop at all, you'll have to purchase a ticket ahead of time, even if you don't plan on being attending live. Any information for that is at the very top of the description box below. I'm very excited about this workshop. I was a financial advisor before my spiritual awakening, and I have a lot of knowledge around just personal finance and how to create wealth for yourself. But I've, since kind of shifting into a spiritual coach role, I've learned a lot about money in a lot of other different ways. So my goal with this workshop is to really combine the two and help you on your journey to creating financial abundance for yourself. So any information for that, again, is at the top of the description box below. And then again, if you wish to see those daily mini readings from me, please make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. All right. Thank you guys so much, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. Bye, Capricorn.